Hi, everybody.
Hello.
What are you doing?
I was looking at the dog. I was looking lovingly at the dog. You said that you have to look at the dog in the eyes for how long? Lovingly. To bond.
I read that I thought that if you looked in a dog's eyes, it was a sign of aggression.
That's what I thought too.
But I read recently that if it's a loving bond, that you can look at your dog in the eye and it will be a loving connection and it actually helps bond with them.
That's quite a leap of faith. You better make sure it's your dog because it could go horribly wrong.
Well, I'd only do it with my dog.
It's a bit like Russian roulette, that one.
Our dog?
No, not with our dog, but you might do it to another dog and
You're only supposed to do it with your dog.
they might take it as an act of aggression.
You're only supposed to do it with the dog you're personally bonding with.
Okay. Well, that's what I was doing. I was experimenting. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
You were soul gazing with the dog.
Yes. Moving swiftly on, it came to my attention this week, or I reflected on this idea that how compelling our thinking can be, because I was convinced that an Amazon box was stolen from our doorstep. And the reason why I was convinced that it was stolen from our doorstep is that I have this vivid recollection that in preparation for our youngest daughter's 16th birthday party, I thought I'd just better clean those front tiles, make them look a little bit, well, they need to look spick and span for the party. So I'll take this box and I'll put it on the front doorstep, and then I'll retrieve it later. So in my mind, I thought that I had done this, and then so a couple of days later, when I think you asked me where is the Amazon box or the contents of the Amazon box, I said, oh, I don't know. I put it out on the front door. That's the last thing I remember doing. And I even remember what was in the Amazon box. It was a blanket for Akasha, our eldest daughter, and a computer sleeve. And I vividly remember seeing a dark grey blanket and a black computer sleeve in this box. And I remember seeing that before I put it on the front doorstep. Anyway, fast forward 2 days later, you asked me where they are. And I said, I don't know. And then I literally turned the house upside down. I then, not being able to find it in the house, went through the rubbish. Then after that point, then I started, the accusations began.
Wait, did you go through recycling or the trash?
I went through the recycling, and I wouldn't say I did. I definitely went through the trash, but I definitely, at least I didn't have to empty all the trash bags out. But I was convinced that it wasn't in the trash anyway. And then the accusations began. And first of all, I was like, oh, there's someone in the community, or there's some reprobate driving around looking for things to steal off people's front doorsteps. And then it occurred to me, maybe there was someone at the party, maybe some teenager decided, oh, look, there's a present, I'll have that. But I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to, damage rapport with my youngest daughter and suggest such a heinous thing had happened. But it definitely crossed my mind. And then this other thing that came into, I think I'm talking too much, but anyway, you'll have your chance in the spotlight in a moment, I'm sure.
I don't quite know what to
offer some
say.
pearls of wisdom. And then what happened was that then I thought, oh, damn, the thing's been stolen. And then this sort of fiendish idea crossed my mind. It was like, well, I guess I could just tell Amazon that, it never arrived. And then this other part of me, there was this sort of little devil on my shoulder saying, maybe making that suggestion. Then this other part of me, my wisdom, my wiser self was saying, no, you can't do that. That would be awful. That's lying. Mustn't do that. So I agonized over that a little bit. And then
you talked to the security guard.
And then I talked to the security guard. I was like,
as if he'd know anything about our parcels. He cares.
It was like 2 days of me being Miss Marple.
We called it our cold case file.
That's right. I guess I don't like being violated in that way. I don't like having things stolen from me. So then what happened? Then I think that then it occurred to me, well, did actually anybody see this box on the doorstep? And then you hadn't seen it. I got our daughter to ask all her friends if they'd seen it. They hadn't seen it. She hadn't seen it. And more importantly, she hadn't seen it when she came back on Friday night from school. And what was it? What was the turning point?
What do you mean?
Well, there was some turning point that made me realize that maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe the box never arrived, or maybe the box was stolen, or I just imagined that I'd put the box outside the front door, and I hadn't actually done that. Because I had done that maybe a week or so earlier. I'd done something similar. So I just imagined that I'd done the same thing again.
Well, I think the turning point was I said, I never opened an Amazon box and I never saw a blanket or the things in it.
Yes.
And I think that was a turning point because you were convinced you had seen the contents of it.
So then somehow I, in my mind, decided that, well, yeah, actually, the box probably was stolen. I seemed to be okay with it. I reconciled myself to the fact that the box had been stolen, and you can't see what's happening off camera, but the dog is busily chewing my arm because he wants to go for his evening walk. Anyway, so then I actually went on Amazon, said the box has never arrived, and then we get a refund. No sooner we have a refund than you get an email from Amazon saying the package is arriving tomorrow.
A week later, when it's supposed to be Amazon Prime.
I know.
But the funniest part was that you thought you had seen the contents of the box.
And what's so funny is when the box arrived, in my imagination, the contents of the box was a dark grey blanket wrapped in cellophane, and then the computer sleeve was just unpackaged underneath it. That's what I saw vividly in my imagination. So I can now only assume that I dreamt this, because when I looked and inspected the contents of the box, will you stop biting me? Stop. Off. No, stop. Sorry about that. When I examined stop biting me. When I examined the contents of the box, it was a light grey blanket, and the computer sleeve was in its own package and its own cardboard package. So I have to assume that I dreamt that.
Yes, because the package arrived today.
So the moral to this story is that is the power of thought.
Yes.
Because I convinced myself of something that was completely untrue. Talk about the illusory nature of thought. That was a perfect prime example of it.
You have a very powerful imagination.
I do.
And we're really using that imagination the whole time.
We are.
And sometimes we can use it in ways that serve us, and sometimes we can use it in ways that don't serve us.
Yes. I don't know. What is the moral to this story?
Don't
All
trust.
the learning.
Don't trust you if you say you've seen something. And whenever you think something's stolen, to recognize you're just being paranoid.
I guess that would be it. Well, that's all I have to say today.
Well, it is pretty extraordinary that you were so adamant that you had seen this box with the contents.
I was convinced I'd seen the contents of this box. And I think what had happened is that I think that I may have done something similar a few days earlier when we were moving our eldest daughter, Akasha, to school. There were lots of Amazon boxes. This particular box was late, so it arrived too late, so we couldn't give her the contents. But I seemed to in the process of packing the car up, I seemed to remember doing something similar. And so I imagined that I had done that again, but what was so weird was just having this real vivid picture in my head of what was inside the box.
But what I think the point of this is that we all do that with our own reality, and we feel we can, at times, speak for myself, get so convinced that how we see things is the truth, rather than our best fabrication of reality in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was really quite an eye-opener to me. And it makes me think, actually, too, the amount of times people probably go out in front of a judge in a criminal case. Sorry, the dog is about to knock something over. That they might be so convinced that something is true, and it was probably all the fabrication of their thinking.
Yeah, that can definitely happen.
Yeah.
So it's best to take our thoughts lightly?
Yes. And I think it's also best to take the dog out as quickly as possible. Okay. I don't quite know why I'm putting my glasses on now, but I am.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.